You're listening to the Parents of Hardworking Teens podcast, episode 101. 5 reasons why exam technique, which is the ability to work out exactly what a question is asking and know how to respond, why this skill of exam technique should be on your teen's must master this list this term. I'm Katie Jones, and with over 15 years in education as an award-winning high school teacher, international external examiner, and as a study coach, I've helped thousands of students skyrocket their results and confidence. And this podcast is where I share all my insights, tactics, and tips with you, the parent, so you can help your hardworking teen get happy, smart, and successful in their study, and have you both enjoy the journey along the way. This is the Parents of Hardworking Teens podcast. Hey VIPs, how are you? I am doing brilliantly. I will tell you why in a moment. But if your teen has ever come out of an exam feeling like they've done pretty well, they're happy with how it went, only to end up with a result that is disappointing, whatever that is for them, and likely therefore also a little bit puzzling, somewhat confusing, because they're like, well, what happened there? I thought it all went okay. Then not only is this episode for you, but also if you want a detailed free class with me on all of this with insights, proven strategies, real life examples to help your teen tackle exams way more confidently and successfully, then I have something special for you coming up. So whether exams are the thing that are dragging their grades down, or something they'd just really love to maximize, or you'd simply love to have them be less stressed over and find less overwhelming, then here's what I want to share with you. I have a live webinar on exactly this coming up on Tuesday, the 11th of June. It's at 7:30 p.m. AEST. Please check your time zone. And it is called Exam Success Secrets: What Exams Demand of Your Teen, but Schools Don't Teach. These are the things that I have discovered over the years are required by exams, are demanded by exams, the skills that your teen needs to have in order to succeed in exams, but schools don't teach. Not because they don't want your teen to do well, not because they're not doing what they should, but because they are simply not part of the syllabus. They are not required to be taught, and a lot of teachers don't really realize what is going on behind the scenes of exams, especially in external exam boards. So you can register for free at www.gradetransformation.com/exams, and the event is free, but you do need to register to get your personal access link. Plus, then you'll also be sent the recording, which will be available for just 6 days after this live event. 11th of June, it's a Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. AEST. And this exam success webinar is the reason that I am doing particularly brilliantly at this moment. I'm feeling excited and have a lot of energy at the moment, partly because I just love diving into exam strategy and pulling back that curtain on all things exams, things that I didn't even realize, did not know, hadn't been trained in my teacher training, took me 4 years to start realizing, and then the past, at least 10 years figuring out how exams are written, what goes into the marking criteria, the must-dos, the must-not-dos. Because I have already planned out the content for the webinar, and I know that it will be so impactful for so many parents of high school and college students. And yes, you can definitely have your teen watch the webinar with you. I would actually encourage it if they are up for it, or if you can just persuade them to. Because the feedback that I hear most often from parents and caregivers and from students and from teachers is that, number one, the majority of students do best in their coursework and assignments, and it is the exam in their course that is usually their lower mark and then drags down their overall grade a little bit, or sometimes a lot. And the other thing that I hear is how exams are a major source of stress for students. And then, of course, also a source of worry for parents and carers. It's that cramming, the revising of all the subject content, doing practice papers that can feel really full on. And then, of course, the fear of the unknown, that mystery of not knowing what they're actually going to ask on the paper, what will be covered on the paper, the potential panic of getting a question that just totally throws them, and then the time pressure of the exam, plus the exam hall environment, that all combine to make things less than a fun experience. And I am not saying that I am going to make exams fun for your teen. If anyone has that magic formula, then please tell me. But what I definitely can do is make those exams less stressful, less of a mystery to be feared or guessed at, is what I see a lot of students doing, stabbing around, guessing at what is wanted, and really have them be a lot more of a positive and successful experience for your teen. So, like I said, register now. It is on next week if you are listening to this podcast as it lands. Register at www.greattransformation.com/exams and use this podcast episode right now as an intro, as a foundation, and then join me at the event for the nitty-gritty details and the practical strategies. So let's here first get clear on what exactly is exam technique. Now, I'm going to share with you a quote that I have on the cover of the Catapult 6, Module 6 workbook in the 10-week grade transformation program. Now, it's actually a quote from quite a while back. I would say it's at least 10 years old. I don't have an exact source date, but it is back from the days of online Whirlpool forums. I guess they're still going. I don't know. Do you remember those Whirlpool forums? It would be all sorts of reviews of all sorts of things and discussions. But this post was titled Notes from an Exam Marker. Now, it's not from me. It's actually anonymous. I can't credit the teacher or examiner who wrote it because that's the nature of these forums. They tend to be like anonymous usernames. But ever since the first day I read it, back when I was first getting into being an external exam marker and really diving into this world of assessment and performance and helping students with this side of things, I just thought it was a really great and clear explanation. So it says, just because someone knows a topic inside out, it does not mean, unfortunately, that they will do well in exams. Their exam technique might be poor. For example, not properly allocating time to each question, not reading the question carefully. Brackets, I've seen many instances where people misread the question or made incorrect assumptions and went off on a tangent. Close brackets. Not planning or checking their answers. Their points are everywhere and incoherent. Whilst it's true that exams are there to test your knowledge, the fact is they also test your ability to do things the right way, to answer the specific demands of the question and construct a relevant, clear and focused response. Of course, having superior exam technique will be completely useless if you don't know a thing about that topic. But likewise, all the knowledge in the world will be useless if you can't put it across in the way the question requires. Now, I will summarize this as exam technique being the ability to work out exactly what the question is asking and how to respond so that your teen gets the maximum marks possible given their level of subject knowledge. Because exams are not just testing your teen's subject knowledge. You can listen to episode 3, What Exams Are Really Testing, for more on that. But the thing is, and I know this is happening for a lot of your teens, if your teen has good subject knowledge, is doing everything the teacher is asking them to, but isn't quite nailing it in exams, then it's very likely that they need to work on their exam technique. And so here are 5 reasons to make that happen. Reason number 1. So that they stop running out of time in those exams. Now, this tends to be a thing in the higher year groups. Generally, when it's just their teachers writing exams, they will tend to plan in plenty of time for them to be completed through those middle years, right up to years 9 and 10. But in the senior years, year 11, year 12, year 13, time in exams gets tighter. Being able to respond succinctly and on target to that question is part of what is being tested. So managing time, for example, allocating minutes per mark, and that is important, but the real key is how to get across a great response in those allocated minutes. It is not just the maths of marks divided by time. And to do that, they need to be able to provide a succinct yet sophisticated response, and especially in an extended response, so that's any question worth at least 6 marks usually. That's where they need to keep that response focused on what the question is really asking at the level of detail required, and doing it without including unnecessary facts or information or, dare I say it, waffle. And we need to stop your teen from any spaghetti throwing that they might be doing. This was definitely something I did as a student, just writing as much as they can about the topic that's being asked and hoping that some of it is going to stick. Some of it is going to get them some marks. And instead have them strategically dissecting the questions so that they can give focused, clear, and structured answers. So they get to every question on the paper and they don't end up missing out on marks just because they're running out of time. And so reason number 2 is kind of obvious. It's so that they get more marks in their exams, so they get better results. And to do this, they need the skill of being able to predict the mark scheme. And then how to meet the specific wording of the criteria on that mark scheme. Because students are often provided marking criteria when it comes to assignments or essays or coursework. But of course, they're not going to be provided that in their exams. And that means that students are often effectively stabbing around in the dark, trying to pick up marks or guessing at what the marker wants or what it is that's actually going to move them up from descriptors like appropriate up to detailed, up to sophisticated, especially when it comes to those higher mark questions. And students just seem to sort of accept that they don't really know what's going to get marks or how that question is going to be marked. They think that's part of the mystery, but it doesn't have to be. And this kind of leads us into reason number 3, which is that exam stress. The third reason to have your teen learn and nail exam technique is so that they feel less stressed about their exams in the lead up to exams, just before they walk into the exam hall, and when they are actually in that exam. Because stress is caused by a feeling of not being in control, not knowing what to do, or not knowing how to do it. And if in the lead up to that exam, your teen would score themselves, let's say, at least a 7 out of 10 for subject knowledge, then it's likely that any stress is not coming from not knowing the subject and not being in control of that, but it's more likely being not in control of what they will be asked on the paper, a fear of the unknown. And not only not knowing what the questions will be, but not really knowing what they're going to want or how to give it to them when it comes to the marking of their responses. So when your teen has a system for and has control over dissecting any question, no matter what they're asked, and understanding exactly what it is asking and how to respond and actually apply all of that subject knowledge that they have been learning and revising, then they will feel more in control. They won't be as fearful of the unknown, and therefore they will be much less stressed. This ties into reason number 4, more confidence. When your teen can honestly say to themselves, hey, you know what? They could ask me anything on that paper, and I will be able to work out exactly what they want. And I have the skills and techniques to be able to put that information across in a clear and succinct way. They are going to feel way more confident walking into that exam. It doesn't mean they're going to do everything perfectly, but they won't be as fearful or uncertain, and they will be a lot more confident. And of course, when their exam performance then translates into more marks and better results, that in itself leads to and breeds more confidence. it's a positive upward spiral because they know that that great result wasn't just a fluke. That's a word that so many students tell me. Like they're like, oh, I got a great result, but I don't really know why I got it, or it felt like a bit of a fluke. They'll know that they created that result, that they were in control of it, and therefore they can do it again in future exams as well. That's what true confidence is. Feeling competent, being in control, having proven dependable results, and knowing how they did it and that they can do it again. And that leads us to reason number 5, getting a positive return on effort. The self-belief and pride from your team finally having their effort pay off and their hard-learned knowledge translate to results increases their motivation, it elevates their self-concept, and it feeds into that positive upward spiral of a happy, smart, successful team, where they feel calm and in control, but also happy and successful. And you don't have that niggling worry or anxiety about how they're doing, their mental health, and the other challenges that come along with exams. So getting a great ROE, return on effort, is a big part of this. So, reminder, if you would like more of the actual practical steps, real life examples and specifics of all of this, and you want to see everything in action and make this happen for your teen, along with a special invitation that I will be delivering at the webinar, then be sure to register for the Exam Success Secrets webinar, What Exams Demand of Your Teen But Schools Don't Teach. Free registration is at www.gradetransformation.com/exams. And I will also be delivering on that webinar a special invite for the 10-week Grade Transformation program with some added bonuses that you will not want to miss out on. And I'm also including an opportunity on that live webinar to win a private coaching session with me for your teen. So I really hope that I will see you there on the 11th of June, 7:30 p.m. AEST. Check your time zone, and I will see you there next week. If you're ready to have your teen achieve their best possible results with less stress, then I want to invite you to enroll them in the 10-week Grade Transformation program, where they're going to learn the key concepts, skills, and strategies to catapult their performance in assessments and exams. It's risk-free. They either achieve bigger and better results with a whole lot more confidence in 10 weeks, or we refund you in full. Just head over to www.rocksolidstudy.com/program, and I'll see you there.